Hey Queen, welcome back to another episode of Rich Bitch Era. Today's episode is going to be the last of this season, and there's a lot to share about what is coming up. In this episode, I'm actually really excited to support someone that has really been a massive, massive catalyst to all of the work that I've done on my own money mindset and my own nervous system and shadow work and generational work and trauma work that I've done over the years. And I've referred to her a lot. She's been on the podcast, I think 3 times live. And her name is Adelina Vaughan. And I've worked with Adelina for 7 years. And she really was one of the first coaches, mentors, women that I worked with being the client that really went very, very deep with me on this work. And so much of my own journey is thanks to the work that I've done with her. Very sadly, she's actually been diagnosed with breast cancer, a very aggressive form of breast cancer. And it's the 8th of October as I'm recording this, and she's actually starting very intense chemo at the moment. And she is the sole income earner for her family. She's always been an incredible coach. She's also a somatic wealth mentor, a medicine woman, a feminine business midwife. She's trauma informed, and most people that work with her are in business in some way, shape or form. And she's been supporting women for over 15 years in this area of work and in her genius to help them to really reclaim their power and really create embodied wealth. As I said, she's been a really big part of my own journey, and I wanted to support her in this final episode of this season. As I mentioned, is about to start or has now started very intense chemo. And I asked her, would you be okay with me sharing this? Because I wanted to actually share the context of what she's going through, and she's fine with this. She's going through quite a fertility journey at the moment too, because she has one beautiful daughter, but she was intending to have more kids. And so she's actually working with a fertility doctor at the moment to save some embryos so that once this journey hopefully is over and she's better, she can continue growing her family. And she's looking at different protocols and different things, but none of them are covered by insurance, and she's in the US. So this episode I wanted to do to actually really honor Adelina. I really want you to hear how powerful she is. So this is a call that she actually did for my team and for the Wildly Empowered Collective earlier this year. And the intention behind it, and we'd spoken for months and months for her to come on and do it, the intention behind it was for her to really help empower in a group capacity everyone to really embody their wealth and really do the work around feeling worthy of these big goals that they wanted to achieve. If you love it and if you get, lots of support and value from it, I would invite you to look at her GoFundMe, which is in the show notes, or the Limitless Experience, which is it's 6 hours of recorded training, and it's kind of like an online retreat that she did earlier this year. She now has it available as a replay, like as an evergreen. So that experience is only $97, and it all goes towards her breast cancer recovery journey. It usually was four times that in the price. So that is also in the show notes for $97 USD. As with anything, especially podcasts are free. I don't get paid for this, and I don't do ads, and I don't expect to, because I love it and I get a lot out of it. But when it comes to my guests, I bring them on, and I do hope that there is some support towards them if they have brought you lots of value and you've really learned a lot and got a lot of gold from listening to what they've said. So Adelina is one of those people. She is an incredible mentor, role model, and just woman of her word. She's really had to walk through fire this whole year, really. She started, if you're a student of hers, you'd know that she did Embody Your Wealth, which was a 9-week program, and she got diagnosed with breast cancer halfway through and had to continue doing the entire container whilst she was going through the hardest time of her life. So without further ado, here is the call. It was so powerful. You'll want a notepad and a pen so you can take down some notes from the beautiful wisdom that she gives you. And if you do feel called, like I said, the GoFundMe and the Limitless Experience links are in the show notes.
I'm loving this business midwife. I've been really feeling this shift of supporting women and and changing their lives from the inside out. Like, really, my main goal is supporting women and changing their lives from the inside out. And then it just happens to affect your business dramatically. And that's not what I intentionally set out to do. Like, if I really look at 15 years ago, being a Reiki healer and being a medium and doing like shamanic work. And, I've been apprenticing with the sacred plant medicines for a decade as well, and supporting spaces in and out of the jungle. And so there's just so many different places and spaces I've been over the past 15 years. And never did I really think that I was going to be like a business midwife. I thought I would definitely be like a birthing midwife more before that, right? Just with the kind of spaces and places that I tend to be a part of, and the healing work that really everything is rooted in the foundations of healing work. And literally breaking generational curses and supporting women in walking through the fire, like I'm walking through, coming from a bloodline that is really has a lot of chaos and a lot of trauma, and wanting to rewrite those stories and patterns and habits and behaviors and belief systems to create liberation and freedom in my own life. And of course, this is a forever unfolding journey. So for anyone here, like, I come to these spaces just as much a student as I am a mentor. And I think it's really important. And I for some reason, am being called to lead with this. And maybe some of you are already like, she's already like feeling and hearing me, is that we don't have to have all of our shit figured out in order to have a business, a multi-6-figure business at that, or a 7-figure business. But more importantly, to just lead, to guide, to support, to mentor. There are always people that are only a few steps behind you on your journey. And that's all you need. It's just people a few steps behind you on your journey to support them. And say, I have a mini solution. I might not have the solution, but I have a mini solution. I have a stepping stone. I have a belief that I've taken on that's really worked for me. I have a solution in terms of a funnel that is really creating so much success for myself and everyone around me. And you also have the big plus of a community. For me, that's also a big draw. I say with my programs and just my field in general, like, I want this space to often and constantly be a home and a hive. We're growing and evolving together. And, just said, I've been through the fire. I have 15 years of this, but it's like, you're never going to get the same woman. Who I am today is not going to be who I am next week, or even 2 weeks from now, right? If I run a program last year, it's definitely not even going to be close to the same program the following year, because I'm constantly investing like large amounts, like $75K in the past 3 months kind of investment in myself, things that consistently stretch me and stretch my business, stretch what I think is possible, what I think is capable. That's not forcing, but essentially like kicking my butt into gear to say, you have to continue to drop these old stories, And I think that when we're constantly willing to stretch ourselves and go to the edge and be a leader, we're also saying that I'm willing to constantly be doing the work and changing and evolving, so that everyone coming into your field is evolving alongside you. So you're not ever going to work with the same person here, because I'm on top of it, and investing in the top of the top, the best of the best. And I think that we have to do this if we really want to lead. We have to be willing to go through the fires and to fall on our face and to fail, and for things to be upside down and inside out, because that's really going to build character. Because who we are being when shit's not working out and everything's falling apart really determines how good of a leader you are, not your 6-figure cash month. Because if you're anxious and overwhelmed and destroyed in the back end, and your marriage is falling apart, and all these other things that are happening, and you're not actually tending to all that alongside it, and you're just ignoring all that, like, that stuff resonates. And you want to be happy in your business. You want to be creating more joy in your business, and you want to allow your business to illuminate everything and anything that's not in alignment, because your business is a catalyst. And I know I've said this probably on every single call I've ever done, is that your business is an inside look into everything that's out of alignment everywhere else in your life. It's just, we can't hide in our business, because our business makes you literally won't make money. And it sucks. Like, there's nothing worse than having a business and not making money in your business. There's nothing worse than putting hours of your life on the line and tons of thousands of dollars in investments and then not making any sales and that not going anywhere. There's nothing worse than that feeling. And at the same time, a lot of us want to run from that. We'll hide and we'll run and we'll be like, I don't want to go through that fire. Well, you can't not go through the fire if you want to be an entrepreneur. Like, you just can't not do that. And if you're trying to avoid that, forget about your business growing, because it's absolutely impossible. Because if you're not willing to go through the fire, then you definitely can't mentor people that are going to go through their fire in their business over and over and over and over and over and over again. We have to be willing to go first, even if we have no idea what we're doing. And even if we don't know if it's going to work, you can't even have that. You have to just decide. I think Julie was saying that. I love that. Like, you decide what happens in your life. You just decide, and then you make moves. Move, 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 move. Stop sitting. It's not stop sitting, stop thinking. Just move. Literally, anytime I get stuck in my head about, what should I post? Is this on brand? All this kind of stuff. What kind of cover should I do on that? I'm like, people don't fucking care. Just get in the vibe, make your epic content, share about your life, share about the mess of your life, and move, keep going. Just keep going, because everything is compounding. But when we're thinking and we're thinking and we're thinking and we're trying to figure it out, like, stop trying to figure it out and just make a move. And by making that move, the doors are going to open to your next move, because energy flows. You need energy flowing. And a lot of people end up coming to me or coming into my field because things are stagnant. And I'm like, you don't need to like be anything different than you are. You just need to reactivate the energy within you. That's it. I'm just here to support you and reawakening the energy that's always been there, and for you to remember who you are and to see the magic that you are and to start leading with that. That's literally most of the work that I do, is just supporting women and remembering who they are and reactivating the energy that's already been there since the beginning of time, that says, I get to have what I want and desire. And everything that is within me is powerful and magical and can change every single person's life, because we're here for something greater and bigger. And when I say I wasn't planning on doing business work, I wasn't. People just started coming to me to support them in growing their businesses. And I was like, well, I'm not really a business mentor. This was probably close to a decade ago. But what we can do is to heal all your trauma, to look at your family dynamics, to look at your relational patterns, to look at your attachment dynamics, your attachment wounds, to look at how your life in the bedroom is with your husband, or how it's not. And we started kind of looking at these kinds of things, uncovering relationship to your father and your mother. We started doing shamanic clearing of the chakras, doing deep womb work, opening up into femininity and pleasure and desire, and where women were keeping themselves small and why they were keeping themselves small, doing somatic work, all trauma work, like everything I had been studying for a decade. Maybe it was like 8 years at that time. I had been studying all this work. I went to school for human behavior and trauma work in college, so it was even longer than 15 years if I think about it. So I was doing all this kind of work, and then women's businesses were literally going from creating very little to all of a sudden them developing a brand and a message. Never was I doing brand work. I was just like, who are you? And what do you want to talk about? And what would you talk about if you weren't afraid of what people were going to think? And what would you share about? What lights you up? What burns a fire in your soul? What turns you on? What makes you wet? Like, I was literally supporting women with this kind of energy. Like, what literally could you not leave this earth without sharing? How much time do you want to be with your children and your family? Is what you have sustainable, or is it not sustainable? Like, it was never about business. It was actually about creating a whole woman from within, and becoming and creating more joy and more love and more peace and more harmony and more softness and more sustainability within oneself. And then that was just rippling out into women's businesses. They started making different businesses. They started creating new frameworks. They started having more boundaries and discernment. They started participating in what they wanted to do and saying no to what they didn't want to do. They started working with higher powered clients. They started raising their prices, right? They started creating different funnels. Their whole messaging started to shift online. The way that they were attracting people was completely shifting. And of course, at the end, sales were shifting. Women were literally creating multi-six-figure businesses. And some of my clients were bumping into 7 figures. And I was like, what is happening here? And then it just started, like, it was like a mushroom effect. Like, literally, it was like, boom, more and more women were just coming to. At one point, I was seeing like 20 women a week. And I was like, I never sought out to be a business coach or a business mentor of any kind, right? Ever. It was just that the secret sauce, the secret ingredient was personal development work, and a lot of masculine oriented business development and focuses on structures. It doesn't focus on feminine frequency and energy. And we are women, and we have wombs, and they're plugged into the earth, and we have yonis that are able to have 1,000,000 orgasms, in one session. And we have the capacity of intuition that indigenous tribes have been leaning on for centuries. And we have the capacity to hold life and birth life and do nothing to do it. Like, we are so incredible and exquisite and radiant. And actually, the more radiant that we are, the more that we attract what we want. We can cast spells of magic into the world that men can't do in that way. Like, there are so much about being a woman that is so incredible that there's no possible way we could fit into a masculine framework. And that's what so many of the women were coming into my world trying to do. They were trying to follow all these systems and structures, but there was no magic. Their feminine essence was getting lost. And I'm like, that's your secret ingredient. Your feminine essence is your superpower. And if you're not turned on and excited and inspired, forget it. There's no way that you're going to be able to magnetize what it is that you yearn for and desire. And your yearning and desire is cut off because you're afraid to claim your yearn. You're afraid to claim your desire. You're afraid to claim what you want. You're afraid to speak out your truth because of childhood trauma, or really actually what I've actually been finding. It's not only parental, relational, family dynamics. Actually, school trauma is huge. The more that I do this work, the amount that we are shut down in modern day school systems is absolutely insane for women, and like this capping of the voice. And so I was finding that the more that I allowed or supported women to claim their truth and to speak up and to refine their voice and their heart and their womb and their essence, the more that they were having success. And I love this because I'm just like, oh, we just get to be more of who we are and our magnetic feminine power of alignment. And then from there, we will have success. Like, literally 90% of business is energy. And the masculine frameworks teach the opposite, right? Structure and strategies are everything. But I just can't get on board with that. I am working with 2 7-figure mentors right now. And yes, structures and systems are definitely essential, right? The more structure, the more systems, the more freedom. We have to have that masculine holding. Every feminine being needs to have that masculine holding, right? And how we're playing the big game in terms of our feminine expression and our freedom to express without giving a fuck of what anyone thinks about us. The more that we can step into that empowered space, the more that the attractive energy starts to just pop off. So the structures and systems are great and essential. I have many within my world. And also I used to be someone that was like, oh, I'll just run my business the feminine way. I don't want to have to plan. And now I'm like, that's like horrible. Like, that's horrible advice. We got to plan. We have to have strategies, right? Like, strategy is smart, especially for selling. And selling is a service that changes people's lives, right? You already all know that. Like, selling is the best thing we could ever do. And what has changed dramatically in my life is that I sell every day now. And I used to not, right? But I love it. I'm just like, let's change our lives. Let's change our lives. Let's change more lives. Let's come on. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. And it's not even about what I'm doing or what I'm selling or what I'm teaching. It's about who I'm being and who I'm growing to be. And it's just about getting more women in that field of energetic alignment to ignite more of what they want to be, right? It's like so powerful. And honestly, I learned so much from my clients just as much as they learn from me. I can't even tell you the amount of women that have signed on to work with me in high level investments, like 1-to-1, that literally changed my coaching in an instant just because they signed on. I'm just like, ooh, this woman is going to literally explode my business because of who I get to grow into be to match her frequency and to match her claims. This is the power of literally aligning with high, incredible, activated women, is that we grow together. It's not ever a hierarchy of anything. It's like we're always growing and evolving together, getting in the room with each other, feeding off of each other's energy, expanding, right? Even my like group masterminds, I'm like, oh my God, all of these women in here are so incredible. Let's go, right? Let's go. And I think that we get to, each and every one of you here, you get to start to move with this kind of energy in your business. Stop drop any kind of perfection of any kind and drop needing to be a certain way, and just know that you get to grow and evolve with all of the women that are coming into your world and coming into your business. Like, this is a community effort always for the bigger picture. And I think sometimes we can get so caught up in our little egoic world, and it's not about us. Like, drop the whole story. The more that you make it about you, the more that you're going to think, the less you're going to move. The more that you make it about the whole, the more you make it about the collective, the more you make it about where the world is going at large, where women are going at large, right? The more you make it about the next generation that's being birthed through women who choose it, right? Or children who are birthed through women that you're an auntie to, because all is perfect, the less you're going to be stuck in your egoic thinking mind, and you're going to be like, oh my God, I can't not write that post today. Like, if I really think about the mission at large that I'm being commissioned into by Spirit, and stop worrying about what you know or what you don't know, and just focus on being all that you are and sharing the medicine of your heart and the story that you live every day, right? I often think if I'm really having some intense stuff, I just had some really intense things happen the past couple months. My new motto right now is let go to let in, because I've just let go of 7 years of my life of being part of an organization doing medicine work. And it's been a huge identity death for me. Nothing that I expected. And I just know that everything's going to open up. But in the midst of that, I'm just letting go of everything that doesn't align, right? And the whole time I've been going through this, I'm like, this were a movie and I'm a main character. Like, what epic story am I writing right now? Because I know this is going somewhere epic. I trust that this is going somewhere epic. So how am I going to meet this whole experience so that I can share about it in an embodied way? And how can this build character throughout this situation that aligns me more to my values of integrity and authenticity? What story am I currently writing? What movie am I making that I'm going to share about later? That's going to be epic. And that is going to compound and create the 7-figure business that I'm moving towards, right? Or it's going to compound and create the multiple children that I'm preparing to bring into the world over the next 6 years, right? And where it's going to create the more beautiful and epic relationship that I'm dreaming in with my partner as we slay the demons and dragons of, ancestral trauma. What am I doing? What am I building? Everything is compounding. And so we have to allow ourselves to get really curious. If something isn't working in our business, instead of getting frustrated, instead of getting angry, instead of getting pissed off, instead of getting overwhelmed and doing all this, literally disturbing yourself with these feelings, it's just get curious and be like, oh, this isn't working. What's the next best step? What's a solution I can find, right? How is my energy not aligned? And how am I writing the best story of my life right now? Well, I'll talk about where I was, 50K in debt and swimming and totally not able to get out of it. And then I had the idea of launching a group program and ended up being 150K launch. Fantastic, right? It's a fantastic story. Did it feel good then? No, I was drowning in fire. Did it feel good when I was in postpartum and depression and anxiety and losing myself, and my partner had to go back to work? I didn't know who I was, and I wasn't meeting motherhood like I thought I would, and all the ayahuasca ceremonies, all the stories, all the things we make things mean. No, not fun. And it's an epic story, and actually is now the foundation of my business, right? It's the foundation of everything that shifted in my business. And that is now creating a multi-6-figure business. Had it not been for that fire, wouldn't have done it, but I met it. And it's allowing ourselves to meet these things without making things mean so much. We love making meaning. We love it. And I think I talked about this on the last call with Twek. It's stop making meaning out of things. Really get clear on where you're making meaning out of things, or where you're making things mean something. And then you end up taking actions on what you made something mean, rather than taking actions on what's possible and where you want to go. Right? I'm just going to check the chat. There's a lot in here. And I can go on a roll. I saw a question. So, Sarah, I need limitless. Sarah, skip limitless. She was coming to you. Embody your wealth, which I'll share about later. Come into a deeper container. A mini solution resonates. Action always feels good. Everyone thinks their own life feed on IG or Facebook is what everyone sees, but it's not. No, it's not. People are seeing your message, your heart, your hardships, and your wins. People want to see you. They want to learn about you. They want to know what you're going through. They want to actually know how you're overcoming it, and they want to have proof that they can overcome what they're overcoming. That's really what people want. They want to see that were able to create it from this, so that they can then have the permission slip to say, if she can do it, I can do it. Right? That's all. That's a big motto of mine. If I can do it, you can do it. Anyone can do it. Especially the rubble that I've come from. Like, you can do it. You can literally build anything. Everything was stacked against me, coming from a family of heroin, meth, and crack addicts, right? And sexual violence. So everything was stacked against me to not be able to do this. And I've done it, and I continue to do it. And no, some days are not as easy as others. Some days are really hard, and that's okay. It's not making it mean anything. It's just being like, today is not the easiest day. How can I make it easier? And so I'm going to talk a little bit in just a moment. I pulled a few cards, but I'm going to talk a little bit about stepping into this identity. And it's something that I'm currently stepping into myself. And so I want to share it. I like to share what I'm currently doing. And it's like, who would I be if I was a spacious woman? Yeah. How would I live my life as a spacious woman? What things get to shift to live a more spacious life? And then once we do that, we're going to see some things. So I'm going to ask some general questions when I go into this, and we'll do a little somatic meditation as well. I love combining the somatics and, the teachings and the transmissions. I think the both and are necessary, because as women, our ability to tap into our feminine temple body and to listen and to feel, like, it's really important that we allow ourselves to feel. And a lot of us have been cut off from that. A lot of us have been cut off from the feminine temple wisdom. And in order to awaken that or reawaken that or connect more deeply, we actually have to gift space for the body to speak. We have to gift space for the nervous system to be rewired, because so many of our patterns and habits and belief systems, they don't live in the mind. They show up in the mind, but they really live in the body, and they live in the nervous system. And a lot of my last 10 years of my life, I've been deeply studying and immersed in trainings surrounding the nervous system, and really understanding how we can create safety. So much success in business is actually dependent on how safe we feel as women. To be seen, to be heard, to be felt, to be expressed, to be explored, to be witnessed, to be abundant, to be magnetic, to be successful, to be held, to receive. It's all about safety. It all comes down to safety. And when women start to feel safe in who they are and their expression and their capacity, that they are worthy to receive everything they fucking desire, their business changes. And I know for myself, the more that I do this work, my business changes. It's so deep and it's so relational. And for me, I share often, I'm an open book. Many of you know who have worked with me. I'm such an open book. I think vulnerability is the key to success. Being authentic and integrity and having those as your core values is the key. And for me, my relationship with my partner, intimate relationship, has always been literally the most challenging. I can't tell you how many therapy sessions I've been in with our therapist or my personal therapist, where I'm just like, nope, this doesn't show up anywhere else. Like, why? This doesn't show up anywhere else. And our therapist is always like, yeah, because this is like where all of the trauma lives. And she was like, I bet if you did look, it does show up. It just shows up differently. And she's right. She's really right. My capacity to receive, or my control mechanisms, all these things that I have when it comes to the masculine, due to what I witnessed in family dynamics, they were showing up in my business too. They're right there. So all of your relational dynamics, if you leave here with anything today, start getting curious about them. Your relationships to your children, who you are as a mother, who you are as a daughter, who you are as a partner, who you are as an auntie, who you are as a sister, like to your friends or to your actual siblings, right? Because who you are in these relational dynamics will gift you a lot of information about also who you are in your business. And don't for one second think that if you do a bunch of personal development work and say work on one of these relationship dynamics, that's not going to directly impact your business, because it's going to directly impact your business more than working on your business will, to be honest. Because changing aspects in your business is easy. Changing who you are at your core and who you are in relationship is not that easy, because you have to look at very, very, very deep wounds. And it also pans out in your DMs, in your conversations, and in your, in how people enroll with you or if they don't. So how you communicate really matters. And where do we learn how to communicate mostly? From our family dynamics, right? So we really, if you're not having, I don't like the word conversions, but if you're not really having a lot of conversations, and a lot of those conversations aren't really allowing people to change their lives and say yes, get curious about that, because that has a lot more to do with you than anything else. Like, you are the problem and you are also the solution. That's the good news. You are the problem and you are also the solution every single time. You have the keys to every single problem, because you are the problem and you are the solution, right? And you are also your greatest asset. Another great news, which means that the more you lead with you, the more your business is going to be successful, which is amazing, which is incredible, and also fucking terrifying. So, like, let's not pretend. You're like, yeah, I'm the greatest asset. The more I lead with me, the better. But it's like, wait, but that means I have to lead with me. And that's terrifying. That means I have to be seen and I have to be witnessed, and people might not like me, and I might fail. I might make the wrong choices. I might not mentor that person the best. And, I might make a post that doesn't resonate. Like, all these things happen, right? And only when we make it mean something about ourselves and give ourselves the opportunity to cut ourselves down and to criticize ourselves and belittle ourselves, like, it's only then that our business starts not having the results that we want, right? We have to be our biggest ally, cheerleader, best friend. We have to back ourselves more than anyone else backs ourselves, especially big claims. And don't get upset if you make a big claim and then you don't actually hit it. Who cares? Just keep going and make another claim. Like, I think we can get so caught up, but I didn't make that goal. Who cares? I didn't get to that rank this month I said I would. Who cares? Just keep going. Everything's compounding. You'll get there. You will get there. Just keep backing yourself. Don't give yourself the opportunity or the luxury to just not believe in yourself and then gift yourself evidence that it's not working because you don't believe in yourself. Can't do this. Have to back yourself. You have to believe in yourself. And you get to, right? You really get to. This is gold. Empowerment at its best. I love that my baby girl is hearing all of this. Me too, Haley. I know my daughter has been so interwoven into all of these things. And also, our children see us at our worst, right? They're see us at our absolute rock bottoms and worst case scenarios. And it's beautiful, because then we can show humility of I'm not perfect. I'm literally growing alongside of you and I'm figuring out life just like you are. I only know this much more than you. And I think humility is also epic in business. Be humble. I am learning and growing and going through the fire right now in so many ways behind the scenes that you'd be like, what? I didn't know you could build a business. I didn't know you could launch programs and all those energies. You can. And I do. And it happens because whenever we say we're going to do something, life is perfect. Let me send every test possible. Right? You're going to choose that word of the year and you think you're choosing peace in the universe. It's let me show you how unpeaceful you are and how you do not choose peaceful circumstances and situations, how you create your own chaos, right? Great. It's not fun all the time. It can be fun. It's the universe is going to laugh at you. Why not laugh along with the universe? Why not laugh along? Not take life so seriously, right? So it's okay. It's okay to fall apart. It's okay to be a mess. It's okay to not have everything figured out. I definitely don't. And that you just show up anyways and you figure it out along the way. And then you empower people to know and realize that you can be a mess. You can be figuring it out. You can have a shitstorm happening and you can openly share with your audience about it and still have multi-6-figure launches or a 7-figure business. It's that authenticity and integrity that allows that. That's really the key to everything in life. It's the main pillars of my entire life, authenticity and integrity. And sometimes that calls me forward really hardcore. And I have to look at myself. And I have to look at my shadows. And that's a beautiful thing too, because we're literally getting paid to become a better human. Your business is literally paying you to become a better human on this planet. That's incredible. We're getting paid to be better people. For ourselves and for our families and for our communities and for the next generations to come. We are getting paid to be better people and to grow and to love more and to create more peace and harmony and to live out our fantasies and dreams and make them realities. So if you continue to, it's like, what lens are you looking at life through? What lens are you looking at business through? And of course, we all can like go into victim mode, go into like why me mode, nothing's working mode. That's inevitable. But how quickly do you get yourself out of that? Set a timer. Be like, I have 15 minutes to be in victim mode, and let yourself have your little pity party or your tantrum, and then like make moves. I do this often, and I'm like, I'm gonna take today. I'm just gonna be in my pity party. I just want one day to be in my pity party about this, and tomorrow I will no longer be in this pity party, because sometimes we just need space, because most of us weren't allowed to throw tantrums as children. So it's like, give your space to throw your tantrum and like move on. Don't deny yourself that. Find a way to gift yourself the space to feel bad for yourself, but just don't linger. I feel like a lot of times we linger in things, and then we wallow in things, and then we're wondering why energy is not moving. I'm like, you're stagnant. You're like wallowing in what won't work instead of looking at what can work and what you can do next, right? And sometimes that next best step is actually like investing and getting yourself into energy fields and magnetic leaders. And whenever I'm feeling really stagnant like that, I'm like, I need to invest in something. I need to like move my energy. I need to get myself into the field of someone that's just going to ramp me up and activate my energy. Like, when's the last time I invested? That's often the question I'll ask. When's the last time I invested? Like, when's the last time I had a mentor? And so this is often a place I go to. Letting go. I can relate to this right now. I'm in the process of letting go of the old. This is resonating so much personally. There's a reason why I'm here, even as a moderator. It's not a coincidence. I really needed to hear that tonight. Let go to let in. Share medicine of your heart. So good. Let it in. Let go to let in. Magic. Why does it feel so hard to let go of what is not serving me? I love making things mean way more than they really do. Great question. Okay, so why trauma? At the end all be all question, your answer usually it's trauma. It's like it was a trauma coping mechanism, most likely, of you created making meaning out of things to make sense out of all the chaos that was going around you. When we grow up in families where nobody talks about anything, and there's all these underlying energies of chaos or tension or content or contempt and, resent and all these energies. I'm reading this beautiful book by Dr. Terry Real right now. And it says that like oftentimes the child is in the center and their heart is just consuming all of the things going on between parents, if they're not mindful enough. And it's so true that we are sponges as children. And if not a lot of things are being talked about and you can feel it all, and everyone in your family is saying like, no, everything's fine, everything's good, and they like save face. I see this a lot, is like everybody just like, everything's fine and we don't want to talk about this. And meanwhile, you can literally feel the elephants in the room. We will, as children, make meaning out of it. We'll make it mean something about us, because no one in our family is mature enough to be honest enough to openly talk about things that are happening, or to explain to a child, like, this is what's happening with us. I'm so sorry, that this is taking place. I'm so sorry that, do you have any questions? Like, can you imagine if our parents said, wow, I'm sure you overheard that fight, or I'm sure you can feel the tension in the room because you're intuitive and intelligent. Do you have any questions about what's going on between us? Right? Imagine if you were able to ask that. So a lot of times, it's hard to let go of things because we are clasping or we're grasping onto things that secure us to feel safe, but it's a mirage. It's not real. We're grasping onto things that have allowed us to feel safe from childhood, but we're not children anymore. So we have to allow our inner children, or our adaptive child, and Terry Real's work, I'm currently studying his work, it's amazing, and Dr. Peter Levine's work, we take these adaptive children and these inner children and we put them in the back seat of the car, and we start to drive the car as the parent, as the adult. And we say, I love you, I see you, but you don't have to hold on to that anymore, because actually what you're holding on to isn't safe. It's just what you thought, it's just what you think is safe, because that's what you held on to be safe in your childhood. So Chris and Sally, like, something for you to really tune into is to really feel like, what am I holding on to that kept me safe as a child that actually doesn't keep me safe anymore as an adult? Yeah. Really, really feel into this. And everybody who's here, maybe you could write this in the chat. What is something that you're holding on to that doesn't actually keep you safe now, but kept you safe as a child? And what ways Sally, this is like another thing you can amplify, and everybody else here might as well as play along, right? For the big game of when you're making things mean way more than they really do. How does that impact your life and your business? When you give meaning to things that is not real, or when you make things mean more than they are, how does that directly impact your business? What happens in your business? It's really important. Sometimes we forget it's so simple. We just have to take inventory. We think this thing, we feel this thing, we make this mean something. What's the direct result of that? Because if we take inventory of this, most likely we will want to stop that pattern, especially if it's more negatively impacting our business and our life, not just our business, right? This is so much bigger than business. Our life, our quality of life that we're living, and our quality of relationships that we are exploring or experiencing are currently in, right? And for you specifically, Sally, of like, how did you have to do this in childhood to survive? In what ways did you have to do that in childhood to survive? And anyone else can answer that too. How did you need to make meaning of things in order to understand more about your childhood or to survive it? I'm in. Sarah, wait till the end, sister. You're coming on in. This is the only way I'm getting through my current separation, allowing myself to feel it and just be. One of the cards I pulled for this talk today is transmissions, is what do you feel? Many of you are not allowing yourselves to feel fully. And this is so important. It's so important not to feel and get overwhelmed and trampled by your emotions, because sometimes we can literally drown in feminine emotion. And this is where structure and strategy around, like literally having that masculine structure around emotions, not to dim it, but just to give it a container of exploration. I'm going to dance for 20 minutes and explore what I'm feeling. I'm going to give myself 15 minutes to meditate right when I wake up and just understand what's happening at the root. Instead of projecting what I'm feeling because I'm so uncomfortable, I'm going to gift myself a massage so I can tap into that. I'm going to book a session with my therapist. I'm going to book in with this mentor. I'm going to roll in this program, whatever it is. Like, gift yourself containers to be able to feel, so that you can tap into that feminine, beautiful intuition and feeling and medicine of our feelings are such empowering. They're so empowering, but gift yourself containers to tap into them so that you can extract the medicine of it, and you can extract your intuition of what to do next with them. Or you can extract your intuition of what these feelings are trying to tell you or share with you, or how they're trying to guide you, right? So important. All about safety. This is epic truth, worthy to receive all that we desire. Totally what is going on in life is showing up in business. Yeah, that is a hard shit. Inner work, definitely in this work at the moment. Love that. You, my dear, are the best. A room full of mirrors, safe or not safe, and what we see, feel, do, etc. Yeah, I'm so grateful my daughter gets to witness my growth and have that as a benchmark for herself. I needed this so much. All my stories this week, getting paid for it all. This is how I built my whole 6A2-2 business, through shitstorms after shitstorm, and sharing this journey. I can really attest to that. Rosie and I have been on a deep journey as sisters, as friends, but also, me just supporting her in various ways. And I've witnessed, often when I get on these calls and I'm doing trainings or immersions, not just in Enagic, but for other larger communities, I'm only here because of this person that's leading this community. And if you were to see behind the scenes, you would know why they have the success that they have. You would know why they are the leader that they are. And I get the honor and the blessing to be able to witness women behind the scenes of what they're building, especially multi-6-figure, 7-figure businesses. And I'm just if you were to see the fires that you would go through, you would not ever say, oh, when is this going to happen to me? Or this is taking so long. You would never say that. You would just realize that you're in the fire and you move along this journey and you grow and evolve and eventually you make it. That's what you would say more. You would have more trust in the compounding energy of everything that you're doing. And you would have more faith and belief in the now into where you're going, because it takes everything you got to do this. I will never ever say, oh, it's been so easy. I'd be bullshitting. I would be full of it. It takes everything that you got in the most beautiful way. And it does get easier. In some ways, it does get easier. And then in other ways, it gets harder. So every time you go to a new level of abundance and wealth, and then you want to go to more, it's like you go through the fire all over again. It just gets easier. Not the fire doesn't get easier. The way you hold it, the way you manage it, the way you cope. Because you've developed healthier coping mechanisms. You've developed a more regulated and rooted and grounded nervous system along the way. You've put your nervous system first. My business, my nervous system is first. My health and my nervous system is first. Everything else and motherhood. My health, my nervous system, motherhood, and family are first. Everything surrounds it. Every decision is made from that. And when we do this, then we start developing better coping mechanisms, and we start developing better resiliency skills and better ways to manage to hold things. And that's what gets easier. So the fire doesn't get so much easier because we just have bigger fires to tend to and walk through. But who we are walking through the fire and how we've changed and grown, that's what makes it easier. It's not that there's less fires to walk through. Or smaller ones. If anything, I have found the opposite. It's just who you are and how you hold yourself changes. And so you're able to move through things in a little bit quicker way. And so that's why personal development work and really doing this inner channel excavation and learning how to work with your nervous system, creating safety in the body, listening to your feminine intuition, doing the somatic presence work, all of this stuff is so essential because then that's going to ultimately shift who you are and who you're being and how you show up to problems, situations, your business, your relationships, yourself. And that is going to make ripple effects in your business. And when I think on the intro to this, it was like clearing the blocks. Like that's how you clear the blocks, right? But quantum shifts, if we focused on the word quantum shifts, right? Quantum shift doesn't just happen out of nowhere. We think, oh, just had this huge month out of nowhere. No. You had lots of micro quantum shifts and you had lots of compounding effort and you had lots of fires that you tended to and you had lots of nervous system regulation tools that you acquired and you have lots of personal development work that is now starting to add up. And then there's this boom, this quantum shift. Right? You've increased your capacity to be able to receive and step into and expand in a quantum shift. Everything, at least in my viewpoint, is increasing capacity and building resilience. All nervous system attunement work. And also a shit ton of risk taking and leaping before you know you can do it. Because when we do that, the universe somehow always supports us. And when we do that, somehow we think the things we thought we couldn't figure out, all of a sudden we figure out. But it's not like we don't like acquire a new superpower. It's just we've put ourselves into a situation where we don't have time to think. We only have time to take action because we've made such a huge investment or we've taken such a big risk. And we're like, and it's like, all my old coping mechanisms don't work. A lot of women come to me in this particular business when they're going from 6A2 to the dashes. A lot of women come to me at that point. I'm like, perfect time to come. Or 6A to 6A2. Like these bigger leaps. I feel like majority of women come around these points. And I'm like, yeah, you're here because literally what you've been doing isn't going to work to where you want to go. You actually have to have an entire identity shift and who you're being and how you're in, either you're in response or reactivity. A lot of women are in reactivity to their business, but reactivity doesn't work in 6A2 in the dashes. You have to be in response. You have to be in leadership. You have to be in more delegation. There's a lot of different energies that have to take place, but it's about identity. It's about shifting your identity completely in order to create these new tiers of success. And that can be really triggering. And also, it can feel really unsafe. Like, more than triggering, it can feel unsafe because we hold on to a lot of these identity parts and pieces. But it's not really us. It's just our adoptive children. And so this is where it's so important that we're tending to our inner children along the way because my God, for decades, these things have kept us safe. These certain identity aspects have kept us safe. And some of it we don't even realize we're carrying. It's just like we inherited this stuff in the womb of our grandmothers. Like, this is the identity for you. And that's why womb clearing is essential for women in business. Probably don't tell you this too much, if you look at like the modern day business world. But like, as a woman, we need to be clearing our womb consistently. And really doing the work of our grandmothers. We are the answered prayer of our ancestors. This is so deep. And a lot of the patterns and habits that we have, sometimes we don't even realize we have them until there's a light shown on them, right? Or until we put ourselves into a room that illuminates a behavior or a pattern or a way of thinking. And we're like, oh, this is the key. This is what's been holding me back, right? Getting ourselves into rooms is really an important aspect. Throw a pity party and move on. Yes. Oh my gosh, imagine if my parents had this conversation. That's why I understood energies as much as first language and words. Yes. What a great way to model to our youngins to bring generational cycles. I've said sorry to my son more times in this last year than I've said my whole life. It's so important to show. Yeah. And to ourselves. Like, literally start apologizing to when you're harsh to yourselves. I know we don't think about it because we just are critical. We're just harsh. And we tell ourselves mean stories. Sometimes we're not that kind to ourselves. We need to apologize to ourselves when we're unkind. Kindness goes a long way. Kindness is love, and love is energy, and love energy is magnetic. Yeah? Why are we in this business? I do what I do because for the sake of love. Literally, everything, when rooted in love, is such a different frequency and vibration. I love watching women say yes to their dreams. I love watching women having space and time with their families and their children. I love being a generational chain breaker and supporting other women and doing it too. I love seeing generations of women and families become free. It's for love, for what's yet to come, and for what I will never see, right? It's to leave this earth better than you came here. That's the mission. And that is love. That's rooted in love. That's rooted in humility. Yeah, it's so much bigger. Sally, thank you. What is something that I'm holding on that doesn't keep me safe now that kept me safe as a child? Staying quiet and hushing my opinion. Shri, thank you. Yeah. And how does this play out in your business, right? Take it a step further. How does staying quiet and hushing your opinion as a child play out in your business? And how is that holding you? Like, what would you post? What would you create? How would you show up if you shifted the identity of someone who stays quiet and someone who hushes her opinion due to your childhood programming? It's literally letting your inner child know you don't have to stay quiet anymore. Like, get loud, have an opinion. It's like cheering on your inner child and then discovering who you are after letting that go and actually asking yourself the question, what would I post? What would I share? How would I show up if I no longer played into this identity that I developed as a coping mechanism to survive my childhood? Good gracious, and thank you, goddess, parents, for welcoming into this earth so that I can do my mission, right? Thank you. But also, I'm giving it back. Here's these limitations. I no longer want them. I'm no longer assigning myself. I'm no longer enrolling in them. I'm actually like signing off. Yeah? I'm unenrolling myself. I'm unsubscribing to this. And then it's getting curious. Who are you now? What do you do? What do you say? What do you think? What do you feel? How do you show up differently without this ball and chain, without this shadow, without this dark cloud? Constant overthinking, staying quiet to keep people happy. Renee, who are you if you weren't doing that? And how can you gift your inner child the knowingness that you don't have to make people happy anymore? Actually, let's make a pact. Let's go into the forest or go to the ocean. Let's have a ceremony where we say together, I no longer need to make people happy. And we take our power back from our family dynamics together, and we burn some Palo Santo, or we write a letter and burn it and offer it to the earth. And then after that, you walk away and you say, okay, who am I now? So much of business is this, actually. So much of business, at least for me and what I shared, it's this. It's this constant creating a new identity and a constant releasing But in order to release, I think this cause is about receiving, but in order to receive, we've got to release. We've got to make space. We've got to make space to receive. But we also have to make space for releasing, and that can be triggering because we'll find out things we don't like about ourselves, and we find out ways that we're not kind to other people, and we'll find out ways that we're keeping ourselves small, and we can either be angry about all those things or we can actually take the steps to change these aspects. I sometimes I loathe when my partner's like, you do this thing. It's really not kind. I've been doing it for a while. You're still doing it. I'm just like, what? I swear to you, I'm changing this pattern. I swear to you, I don't do this thing. He's like, I can kind of give you an example from yesterday if you want, or this morning, and it's like, I don't want to do that thing. But how badly do you not want to do that thing? Because it's only in the actions. My partner says this all the time, not just in our relationship, but just in life in general. He was like, words are great, but actions are better. Right? It's like one of his biggest mottos for life. It's like, words are great, actions are better. Because we can either talk about who we want to be, or we can be about who we want to be. And being is embodiment. And embodiment creates ripples. Ripples creates magnetism. Magnetism creates receiving. Right? So appreciate the insight. Love you. Walk the fire, queens. It's where the medicine and the magic is. Yes, Rosie. The fire is hot. Nervous system first. I love that. Ready for that quantum shift. Yeah, Vera, be right. You just put a big spell into the world. I'm ready for that quantum shift. Get ready. Get your seatbelt on. Get ready for a wild ride. And how are you going to be supported in that wild ride? Who are you going to lean into? What are you going to lean into? Because we all need it. Okay? Don't think that I'm building this without a huge team. I got a team of 5 people and I have 2 mentors on top of that. So don't ever think that someone building something big is doing it by themselves. I literally have 7 people supporting me right now. 8 if I consider our relation therapist. 8 people. So it's like 8 people are behind me. I literally have a council of women holding me to be able to go into the fire of what I'm doing right now. Right? So this is important. Don't ever think any woman doing these kinds of things are doing it alone. That's actually not ever how women were designed to do anything alone. No, we're designed to be in circle, in sacred ceremony, and in sisterhood. That's the only way that we rise higher, is by doing it with a council of women behind us. The capacity stretch, resilience is everything. Working toward the quantum shift, but gotta walk through the fire first. Exactly. Release to receive. I miss that version of me. Great permission slip to be louder and seen again and say it all aloud. Others' actions to silence me. I was always outspoken and never held back. Was always labeled a troublemaker, difficult, painful, stubborn. Emma, listen to this. This is so big. When we're labeled as children, we actually take on these identities. With the research that I'm doing with early childhood development, since my daughter's been born, labeling children, even labeling a child shy, can literally make them shy. And if you hear that again and again and again and again, you're a troublemaker, you're difficult, oh, she's so stubborn. You literally take these on as identities, and then you start to form characteristic personality traits around the identity that your parents are giving you. My parents always said that my brother has having a hard time. He just struggles. Well, guess what? 15-year heroin addict, right? They constantly played this story into him. Constantly. Because he didn't learn the same way. And I was always the successful one, the golden child. And what do you think that does? Sibling rivalry. It created a lot of problems. And I watched that. And also me being always the one that, it does everything and is always enrolled in everything and, is successful. What do you think that did to me? That made me go into overdrive and become a workaholic. And I've been unraveling that for 10 years. And all of my self-worth was embedded in how successful I was and how well I did and how much I did. As a child, I was literally in college at 14 years old, on the debate team, in the theater team, doing plays and ballet. I slept 3 to 4 hours a night at 15 years old. Do you think that was good for my hormones? No. Right? There was nothing good about that. But that is what I felt that the more that I did that, the more I'd be loved, right? So these labels, they create identities. So really get curious about that and get more curious about how you are still being the parent that says that about yourself. All of you. Get really curious about how you are parenting yourself in the same ways your parents did, or naming or name calling yourself in the same ways, or labeling yourself in the same ways that you had happened to you when you were younger, because you would not believe how small you are making yourself by carrying on the traditions of your parents in these ways, right? It's wild. Being compared so much to my twin sister, she was the quiet, good, smart twin, and I was the defiant, loud, dumb one. Maggie, how does this play out in your business? Right? I mean, this work is so powerful. This will radically change your business more than any strategy, because this is at the core of what's holding you back from saying yes to all that you desire, want, and are dreaming. It's holding you back from receiving. It's holding you back from claiming your medicine. It's holding you back from showing up unapologetically. It's holding you back from being the absolute magnet for all that you want to attract and all of who you want to attract to catapult your business forward and create an epic team of women changing the world. This is holding you back. And it's also holding back every woman that's coming into your field. Pass this on. Right? I share everything here to be passed on, because it's everything that I've received from all of my teachers and all the plants. All of this is to be passed on. School, I was told to stop talking all the time. So Jess, your secret sauce right now is to talk as much as you possibly can. Literally, talk as much as you possibly can. Gift yourself for the next month that you talk more than you've ever talked in your entire life. And you celebrate it. So everything that we're talking about here, Emma, be the troublemaker, right? Stir up the shit online. Say the things that are edgy. Be the difficult one. Be stubborn in your dreams and goals and unwilling to bend or mend. Okay, let's go, right? Be that. Light bulb moment, childhood, pretending to be something else because of shame surrounding us, affecting business today. I think that's where I've always gone wrong, going it alone. No, we cannot go it alone. Do not think for a second, a millisecond. Anybody who's creating 6 figures, multi-6 figures, or 7 figures, or 8 figures is doing this alone. There is a team behind them. It has always been. I've always had a council behind me since day one. Blocking too much of my childhood, can relate to this. Reparenting ourselves, and an eye-opener to how I'm now parenting my teens. Yeah, that's why Facebook Lives are so cathartic for me. I'm going to watch and rewatch this. Yeah, watch, rewatch. Being told I shouldn't speak more. Always too emotional. Be emotional. Lead with your emotions now, right? Speak your heart. Speak what's on your heart. Do not filter what is on your heart with your audience. Your business will blow up, Carrie, when you start to do this. You will become more magnetic with all the same strategies and systems by allowing your emotions to be present, allowing yourself to be emotional about your business. Give yourself permission to be emotional. It will become your superpower, because the very thing we were told we can't do was actually what our parents were the most uncomfortable with. I never thought today was going to go in this direction. It's always fantastic when it's like that, right? You have a plan, the universe has another plan, but it's great. It's like your parents were uncomfortable with emotions. I have a strong feeling, Carrie. Your parents were uncomfortable with emotions. And so they wanted to dim yours. Fuck that. Right? This is your opportunity to say, I see you. I love you. I know your parents are probably uncomfortable with emotions too, but I'm breaking this cycle. I'm setting my family and myself free. I'm going to be damn emotional. I'm going to feel everything. And I'm going to talk about emotions now online. And I'm going to talk about my heart online. And I'm going to welcome other women to free themselves and their emotions too. And now I'm going to create a really successful business from doing it. Mark my words. You do this for the next 6 months consistently, you will have a very different business in 6 months. Yeah? I was always hurting myself, and everyone else said, poor Kayla. I hope I'm saying it's right. It's Kayla or Kyla. I had this breakthrough a week ago. That's not the identity I want anymore. Claim this. Claim this. The identity shifts require us to walk through the fire of transformation and transmutation and healing and reclamation. Transmutation, transformation, healing, and reclamation. That is what is required for us. And identity shifts are here for us, right? It's here to support everything that we want and desire. Miracles and magic are on the other side. Every single time. Every single time, right? We already know, so much of you here, you already know. Your heart knows, your womb knows, your body knows. Like, you already know. You already have everything inside of you, everything. It's just about allowing yourself to love yourself enough to say yes. This is about love. Everything is about love. Love for ourselves, love for the world, love for all the women who want to impact, love for our business. And if you can distill everything into love, the purity of that and the way that you're going to lead and what you're going to share and how you're going to share, everything is going to change. Stop getting so caught up in the to-do list, right? And in the strategies and the systems and the Instagram posts, the I don't know, the covers of them and all this kind of stuff. Like, all it matters, you gotta make things beautiful. But do it for the sake of love, not because you have to. Do it for love. And a lot is going to change, right? And how can I talk about this like this? Because love is the hardest thing for me ever to step into, because I never trusted love. I still don't trust love all the time, and motherhood was so hard for me because I had never felt that much love. And I didn't know how to be safe in feeling that much love. And I think that for me, love has been my greatest teacher. Like, allowing it in, sharing it out, like even sharing love was terrifying for me. And even now, I'm so scared sometimes to just share love, right? Because of what is on the line. And at the same time, it's also the most healing. So lead with love. The rest will follow. Yeah. I have legit just written a book called Enough. It's being released next month. You just confirmed it's on point. Of course it's on point. You wrote it. Of course it's on point. You wrote it. That's why it's on point. You wrote it. Everything is because of you, right? Of course your message is valid. Of course your message is strong, because it's your message and you are awesome. You are incredible. The more that you can anchor into this, the better. Of course your leadership training is impactful, because you're leading it and you're impactful. You are your greatest asset through and through and through. And the more that you can allow yourself to choose a life, like a lot of my decisions this year, my number one question I ask myself is what I'm doing in my business, or is what I'm about to do in my business, is what I'm doing in my relationship, is what I'm about to do in my relationship, going to create more peace and spaciousness in my life? And that's my whole motto for this year. And then I listen. I take the time to listen, honestly. Even if other people are telling me I need to do that thing. It doesn't matter. If it doesn't resonate, if it's not going to create more peace, if it's not going to create more love, if it's not going to create more spaciousness, if it's not going to create more integrity, then the answer is no. And so a big part of success is really attuning what you value and aligning everything to it. And that is what is going to create success. That is what is going to create multi-six-figure business, 7-figure business. That is what is going to create joy. I've had to make some really huge decisions and let go of some really big parts of my life because it didn't align with those core values. And it wasn't creating more peace, and it wasn't creating more spaciousness. And I had to see how I was hooked into an old identity, and that's why I stayed longer, maybe, than I needed to. And it's important. All of this work that we're talking about, I truly believe all of this is the most important, because it's sustainable. It's not just chasing the rank. It's not just chasing the dollar amount per month that you're making. It's not chasing anything. It's creating a sustainable internal compass that is going to continually direct your life. Most importantly, before business, your life, your relationships, your community, and your business in the direction of success. This is going to create sustainability from within that will naturally ripple and orient outwards and naturally become absolutely magnetic for everything that you want to have happen.
Until the next episode, I wish you so much good luck and fortune and wellness and happiness and joy and abundance in your life. I am taking a little bit of a break, and I'm also recording some episodes in various studios interstate, which is really exciting. So I'll be back with the next 10 episodes and kind of banking them up so that they can be regularly every 2 weeks. So there's lots that will be coming. But for now, I'm going to focus on my family a little bit, my own mum and her cancer journey, and some things that I just need to focus on in my priorities in life as well, which really always comes down to family for me. So as I always say, rich bitch moves. They're the long-term, decisions that you make, and they really do always come down to your values and what's important to you. And what's really important to me is always my family and having time with them and being there for them. And that's why I built a business that I have and a passive income that I have. And my next priority beyond that is always helping the women that have chosen to be in my field and in my world and in my inner circle, to support them to do the same, because the majority of them are there for the same reasons and really just want to serve and impact others, other women, to be able to live a life like this as well. So that's what I'll be focusing on while I am working on the next season of Rich Bitch Era. I always love hearing from you. So if there is a topic or a guest or an area that you would love to have covered on this podcast, please do message me either at Jessica Zallams on my normal Instagram or at Rich Bitch Era, which is the podcast's Instagram. So until the next episode, I am sending you so much love. I hope you get so much value from this. Please do share, tag Adelina so she can reshare it, tag myself so we can share the wisdom in our stories and on our platforms as well. And I will see you in the next episode. Thank you so much.